good evening once again. And then once again, we bring you greeting from my congregation, which is Prophetic Full Church of Christ. But that is where I'm coming from. That is where I minister. And we thank you again this evening for being with us. And we believe that once in a while we have to delve into the scriptures to ascertain the authenticity of what we've been made to understand and believe by our preachers, our pastors, and whoever. Uh, you have to be like the Berean. That is what the Bible advocates, and that is what the Bible admonishes all of us to do. Uh, in fact, I used to, from my background, Churches of Christ, I used to, listen to, the preachers, and I believed whatever they say as true. But along the line, when I sat down to study the scriptures on my own, I realized that there are certain, there's some level of inconsistency, all along of what I've been made to, understand and believe. That does not mean they were wrong, but I believe that there are certain scriptures or certain areas they have faulted. So I opted to, you know, recommend them, point these shortcomings to them that these does not add up to scriptures. In fact, they do not add up to what they've been taught us. And there was this bashing and so on and so forth. But then I just don't care whatever they believe anymore. It's just up to them. See, none of them are inspired men of God. In fact, we all study the scriptures and we take a position, you know, after we conclude what we have, studied. So you believing me or not does not actually bother me much. Neither am I also going to, follow what I believe does not add up to scriptures, by my private studies. So that is what I do. So we have done a lot of videos, ever since we established this YouTube channel, Hope Fulfilled. That is the name of our YouTube, channel. So if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you want to watch our previous videos, you may do so. You go there, and then either you subscribe to them or you watch them. We have the capital H. The letter H is a capital H. I think it's a violet. We have it as a uh, we flagged our name with this letter H. So because there are a lot of hope fulfilled channels out there, on YouTube, but mine has capital H as our symbol against it. So when you scroll down there, you come across one channel which has the capital H against it. So there you can go there to subscribe or to watch the video that we have uploaded there. By it also afford you certain advantage when you subscribe or when you share our videos for others to subscribe to our channel, because whenever we publish a new video, you may have the opportunity to you know to watch them first hand. So that is the advantage that you tend to enjoy by you subscribing to our channel. Anyway, today we are going to look at, or this evening, something brief. We are going to look at something brief, concerning the cast out, the casting out or the cast out of Satan or defeat of Satan, depending on how you are going to, see it, but it pertains to either of these. So we are going to take a look at that, and then you can take a position on that. So, what we are going to do is straight away we are going to go to the book of Revelation, and we are going to open to the chapter 12, and we are going to read from verse 7 right up to verse 12. That is what we are going to do. So we will urge your cooperation and your be open-minded, as far as this studies or this teaching is concerned, so that at the end of the day you can take a position. Either you agree with us or you disagree with us, but we believe that what we teaches is what exactly what the Bible teaches anyway. So we are going to start, by reading from Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 following. Now, verse 7 says that, and a war broke out in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. So there was a war, between the dragon and Angel Michael. Now, the dragon we know is the devil or the Satan. So it means that this is a spiritual battle. It wasn't a physical battle, right? This is a spiritual battle and it wasn't a physical battle. So there was a battle that was ongoing between these two entities or between these two figures. Michael with his angels or with his armies versus the dragon, that is Satan, or evil or devil with his angel as well. Now remember in I think Second Corinthians chapter 11 verse 13 14, Paul said that in his time all the way back in I think AD 50, AD 49, AD 50, there were false prophets around. They paraded themselves as apostles of Christ. But then again, he said that it wasn't wonder that the Satan himself masquerade himself as angel of light. You understand? So it means that the devil or the Satan was someone who was present in the days of Paul when he wrote the book of Second Corinthians. Okay, so the false apostles were there. They were giving false predictions. Hymenaeus and the rest were there, giving wrong timing of the parousia. You understand? The scoffers were also there. So these were the angels, apostles of the Satan. But of course, the master himself has masqueraded himself, trying to uh, appear like an angel of God. Okay, but then by his deeds, you will be able to identify them, and they were to dissociate themselves from these individuals. So all the time, the apostles kept uh, admonishing the church, to refrain or not go near to these individuals. So a war broke up. So this is a spiritual battle that broke up. Now, let's go back to the book of Daniel. So here, because Michael is mentioned here, so and uh, his role was to fight, you Satan or the dragon and his minions. So let's go back to the book of Daniel's, and let's see what Daniel also has to say about this war that actually broke out. So let's see what Daniel said. Daniel chapter 12, and the verse is 1. So let's see what is there and see if we can make reason out of that. Uh, okay, so let's see what is there. Daniel chapter 12. So in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, it says that at that time, so there's a time statement. So at that time, now remember John said that Angel Michael and his minions fought against the devil or the dragon and his minion. Now this is prediction Daniel made prior to what John said it was taking place at the time. It says that at that time, so that is the at that time is the time you know, on which Daniel chapter 12 is fulfilled. We have those days and at that time. So at that time, that is the time which John said, the battle, got underway. So it said that at that time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stand watch over the sons of your people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never seen, such such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time, and at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone who is found written in the book. Now see, uh, there's going to be a war, and there's going to be deliverance. So who is going to deliver the lost people? It was, you know, now that this is a spiritual battle, so it means that uh, God is going to be with His people, and He's going to fight the devil. You understand? Remember what Paul said in the book of Romans. The chapter is uh, 16 and 20. It said that God of peace shall soon crush Satan under your feet. So it means that Satan was being defeated all along. Okay, all along by the gospel. Yeah, the power of the gospel was binding Satan. The power of the gospel was defeating Satan. You understand? So uh, prophetically speaking, Michael will be the one who will defend, the lost people in battle. So it was a prediction that that Daniel made, that will be the case in at all at that time. Okay, that is the eschatological time, time of fulfillment of Daniel chapter 2, of which John said it has come, and it was all underway right down there in the first century, in the last days of Israel. So at that time there is going to be this spiritual battle between uh, Daniel and his angels, as well as the Satan or the dragon and his minions. Now, verse 8 of Revelation chapter 12, it says that, but they did not prevail, nor was the place found for them. So now, in the course of that battle, uh, the dragon was defeated. You understand? The dragon was defeated because he was being defeated through the gospel. You understand? He deceived many of those in the first century. So as a result of this, a lot of people even left the faith. You understand? That was the time of apostasy, and it was also one of the signs of the imminent coming of Christ. If you read Second Thessalonians chapter 2. So, but then those who were able to hold on to the faith to the end, they were delivered. So that was the victory that God brought upon them. Those few saints who were able to sustain the persecution and the war to the end. And remember, one war was fought. You understand? Eventually, and the unbelieving Jewish, they were defeated in the AD 70 battle. So now it says that there was no place found for them in heaven any longer. So now verse 9 say that, so the great dragon was cast out. Now there's another important word. That great dragon was cast out. You understand? He was cast out. Cast out, that serpent of old, called devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. He was cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now remember, in Matthew chapter Matthew chapter 8, I believe. In Matthew chapter 8, there's from the from 9 onwards, there's a statement like that. There's a statement there which requires our attention. So long as this text is concerned, the casting out of Satan, that old serpent called devil, is concerned. Now, if you open to the book of Matthew, the chapter 8 and the verses 9 onwards, there's something that Jesus told the people at the other time. He says that, but you are not in the flesh. Oh, sorry, this is Roman. This is Roman. Okay, yeah, Matthew chapter number 9. Now, this is what Jesus said. Okay, that is the fate of the centurion. Now, the centurion, now verse 8, Matthew chapter 8, verse 8 onwards. He said that the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. Now, verse 9, for I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And all I say to this one, go, and he goes, and another to another, and to another come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. Now, verse 10, it says that when Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to those who followed, assuredly I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. 11, and I say to you that many will come from east and west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. So now, once again, now if you open to the book of Luke, the chapter is 13, verse 28, 29. It is going to talk about the north, south, east, and west. It's going to talk about all the four cardinal points. So it tells you that there's going to be, all and in all resurrection, because the only way the patriarchs, whose names have been mentioned here, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, the only way they are going to get into the kingdom is by resurrection. You understand? So they were waiting for Christ to come. In fact, Christ himself is the resurrection life. So in other words, they were waiting for Christ to come. They were waiting for resurrection to come. Now remember, Christ is going to come, one in judgment and also with the kingdom. So it is the parousia of the AD 70 that consummates this prophecy of the patriarchs resurrecting into the kingdom. So the kingdom has come. While the kingdom at this juncture, the kingdom has not come. You understand? So even in verse chapter 6, verse 9 of the book of Matthew, says that when you pray, pray that let your kingdom come. So what that means that when the kingdom comes will be the time when Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will be arising from tomb or Hadean realm and a component called paradise now into the kingdom. So that is resurrection test anyway, but that is not the issue of our focus. Now, verse 12, he said that but the sons of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. So now in book of Revelation, chapter 12, uh, verse 8, he says that the dragon called the old serpent, that is Satan, the fought Michael, but they did not prevail. In other words, they were thrown down, they were defeated. But once again, so where after they are defeated, they were cast out. You understand? They were cast out into or onto earth. So now here we also have the time of the kingdom being the time when the unbelieving Jews will be cast out. So it tells you that the Satan there was no other person than the unbelieving Jewish. Now remember, Satan or the devil or whatever are called opposers or the accusers. Okay, so they were the people who were opposing, the spread of the gospel, who were opposing the power of the gospel. It was the first century Jewish. They were the one who were opposing, the kingdom or the gospel to be spread, so that many will hear it and repent and be baptized for their salvation. So in other words, they were obstructing the path of salvation. Now remember, in First Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 16, Paul said that, well, these people all the time, the Jewish do this, they restrain us from reaching you guys with the with the gospel. So that is what the Satan was doing. He was opposing the apostles from reaching many with the gospel. Now, because he knew that uh, one of the conditions of Christ's parousia at the end, at which time Christ will come, is the spread or the spread of the gospel in the entire world. According to Matthew chapter 24, verse 14, it says that the end will come after the worldwide publishing of the gospel. Okay, so Satan did his best to restrain them from getting them with the gospel. At some point in time, Paul said that what I have wished to or I have longed to, come to you, but I've been restrained by Satan. Satan has restrained me, so I am unable to do that. So whatever Paul goes in the Gentiles, cities, Derby, Lystra, Thessalonica, Ephesus, these unbelieving Jewish will always, stir an uproar against them, and they will just dramatize the situation so that Paul is unable to, spread the gospel. But that was a spiritual battle. They were posing each one, this one going this way, other one also going this way. So they were just opposing themselves. You understand? So eventually, the gospel prevailed the end came because the gospel, managed to reach to the entire world at the time, the first century world. If you read the Colossians 1:5 to 6 and verse 23, you can also talk about Romans chapter 10 or Romans chapter 16, verse 25, 26. Okay, and so on and so forth. So it tells you that indeed the gospel was preached to the then known world. So the end came. The end is when Christ will come. You understand? So no matter what they did, they could not preempt the gospel from reaching everyone in the then known world of the first century. So Christ came then at the end. And I remember I said that Christ at the end of the age, he has appeared to put absence. So Christ's appearance was at the end. If you read Hebrew chapter 9, verse 24, 25, and 26 thereabout. So that is that. So there was a cast out from the kingdom. Now remember in Exodus chapter is it 19, 5 to 6, God established a kingdom with Israel. They became his wife. He married them on Hebrew, on the Mount of Sinai. He gave them his, marriage, commandment and other, stuff for them to, be obedient to their husband. But along the line, they went into idolatry. So God cast them out, including even the 10 northern kingdom, the 10 northern kingdoms. He cast them out. And even the southern Judah and then Benjamin, they also even sin along the line. But because of the promise of David, God forgave them until AD 70, when they were eventually also cast out of the kingdom. So this is how God does it. So it says that now they were cast out the into outer darkness. Now remember, darkness is that which characterized old covenant Judaism, because it is the covenant which Satan reigned through sin, by taking advantage of the law. You understand? And that was Paul's evil present age, Galatians 1:4. So that was the darkness, and they will be weeping and a gnashing of teeth. So the gnashing of teeth. So this was the time of the AD 70 judgment. Okay, when they perished in the AD 70 pogrom, others were slain, others were also taken captive into foreign lands. So the casting out of Satan in Revelation chapter 12, Revelation chapter 12, verse 8 or verse 9. Yeah, verse 9 rather. So that great dragon was cast out. So in Matthew chapter 8, verse 10, the old unbelieving Jewish, they were cast out. They opposed the spread of the gospel. So in other words, they were called the Satan, because the Satan always opposes the spread of the gospel or the work of the apostles. Now, if you read John chapter 14, there's also a statement there. John chapter 8, John chapter 8, verse 44. Jesus also told them this. Now, verse 44, it says that you are of your father the devil. So now Christ is calling don't believe in Jewish, devil. You understand? Because the devil gives birth to devil, of your father devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer. Now, there's Satan. He was a murderer. Now, if you open to the book of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 31 up to 35, Jesus Christ told the Jews that they murdered those who were sent to them. So, in other words, he was referring to the Jewish believing Jews as murderers, and they were as Satan. So, he said that because now it says. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and a father and a father of it. So now here we have the unbelieving Jews being called Satan. Anyway, we shall end here because of the time, and then come your way some other time. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hope Fulfilled, and we are going to enjoy more of this series in our subsequent broadcast. So until we meet again, I'm Solomon. Bye bye.